Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the player healthy, how to create a healthy health bar around the player, and the shell creation, the shell here, the shell creation. Yeah, how to create a shell. And then the last, we are going to talk about how to fire the shell. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's start. Let me take out all this. Okay, so this is the demo. Okay, so this is a demo. Uh, okay, let me show how to. You you basically you press up, down, right, and left, and then you press the right hand side of the enter key, and you fire. Yeah, you can move and the camera will move with you. Yeah, sorry that I haven't done the net mesh. So basically, you can go through all the all the rocks and cactus. But you see, like when I press enter bar, which is the fire one, you can see the indicator and you can see the fire is coming out of the fire barrel. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is today's tutorial. And okay, so first we are going to talk about how to create a health. Okay, so first you go to the B, the yellow B one. Okay, so we are going to create, yeah, before we create the rigid body and we put like some audio source. For example, like you can, we have two audio source. First one is engine. Engine is like when you are moving, you have the engine audio, and when you shoot, you have a shooting audio. It's all on the player. Yeah, and by the way, you need to put the player yellow B in the player layer. Yeah, in the player layer and tag player. Yeah, because later on we are going to do like some stuff, so we might need to like a explosion. So we might need to put into player layers so we can destroy the players. Yeah, in the player layers. Okay, so so let's go down. Okay, so let's open the B health. This, yeah, this script. Okay, so first we need to input Unity.ui because Unity.ui basically is the if we want to put any slider, any canvas, anything that related to a UI, we need to put the Unity engine.ui for the reference. Yeah, okay. And then first we are calling the starting health for 100. So basically this bar is 100. 100. Yeah. So our starting health is 100. And when you got bombed, then you will lose your health according to the distance, how far you are, you how far you are related to the bomb. So basically, that's our game. And then second one, we need to create a public variables slider, and we call imp slider. Yeah, and we create another one called fill image. Fill image basically is here. Yeah, you can use Photoshop and create basically a circle, and like this one, PNG. Yeah, and then you put a circle, and Yeah. So this is the image you can create. And then you can also create, okay, so there are two colors. One is the healthy green. Another one is red. Red is you got damaged. So basically, if you got more damaged, you will have more red. And if you have a lot of health, you will the health part you can see it's on gray. It's in green. Okay, so and then let's see the next one is public game object. AM explosion prefab. Okay, so this one is like for example, like this one, this is the explosion. Okay. Uh, okay, so this one is the explosion. Restart. Yeah, so this one is the prefab that I find on the asset store. You can go in the asset store and then you can choose the free there are some really good free prefabs you can choose. Okay, so I choose this one as my explosion. Yeah, so you can have the explosion prefab just to show if you die you will have an explosion. Okay, and private audio source. Audio source, you can have the explosion audio. My explosion audios, let me show you my explosion audio. I got all my assets from the asset store, and it's all free. So I mean, you can always customize your assets according to your needs in the asset store. Okay, so explosion. Okay, so let me make this. Okay, so this one, right? Okay, so explosion, this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so for example, if um, our player is lose all the health, then it will destroy itself, like play the explosion, destroy itself, and then play the sound of this one. Yeah, so you can kind of envision that. Yeah, this is the really cool. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Effect. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, so this is prefab. It's the explosion. Then when the player when the robot B explore, then we play the explosion audio. Then we put the particle system explosion particles. Okay, so we have prefab and then prefab there's okay. So prefab there are three elements in the prefab. One is it's the prefab, it's the whole thing, right? Game object, it's the whole thing. But we want like a particle. Particle is this one, right? And then we have the transform. We have the position. Our position, we are going to put explore. Yeah, basically the position and the there are three parts. Yeah, transform, particle, and audio source. So yeah, so and then we want the explosion particles. So the particle system will play when the bee is destroyed, right? The prefab that will instantiate in awake, then use whenever the bee dies. So this prefab will be more like a prefab, more like overall you wanna instantiate in awake, and whenever the B dies, and then the particles is the play when the B is destroyed. So you get the whole prefab at the beginning. Then you play uh, the particle system inside this prefab. Yeah, when the B is destroyed. Okay, so basically there will be two players. So when I shoot, then another B will die. So it's not this B's another our rival. Yeah, I just make one and have, and this script will be applied to both two players, and I just change the player number into 2. Yeah, you can see this is player number 1, and in the B shooting, later on if I change it to 2 for the second one, because I'm using this player as a prefab, the first one and second one will be the same, but the color will be different. And then I change the player number into different numbers, so I can kind of like use the same template, use the same model, but I can make 2 different players. So that's the strategy. Okay, so we make another float, current health. Yeah, how much health the B current has. Yeah, and then we have a ball, whether this B is dead or not. Yeah, has the B been reduced by beyond 0 health yet? It's like, oh, if the B hit the doesn't have any health, like the health is 0, then it's dead. Okay, so if you hit the 0, then you're dead. Yeah, it's true. Is the B dead, true or false? So we use both. Okay, so on awake. Awake means that before everything starts, we want to get our components ready. Because like sometimes it's so hard to run a game, but just like if you want to get some component, it's better to just awake some of the components before any frame runs. So first we need to instantiate the prefabs, get the particle system, and instantiate the prefab. Yeah, and get component. So it means that, okay, let's get this one, let's get this one, instantiate this one awake, but not really playing it, but we just get this component first. And then second, explore exposition audios. Okay, that's yeah, explosion audios. So we need to get the audio source. Yeah, so and then we need to set the particles set true. Yeah. Okay, so because this one, our main focus is that we set up the health first, and then we set up like if the player hit the 0 for the health, then we are going to play the prefab, the particle system, destroy the game object, and then set the game object, set the player active to false. Yes, and the dead is like we make it die. Yeah, so this is the whole health script about. Then we go to the difference between public and the private is that if you set it public, you can get from any other kind of like any other script, any other any of your script functions. But if you set it private, it only can run within this little world. but you can call this outside, but inside everything is private. So yeah, so that's the difference. Okay, so on enable, when the tank is when the B, sorry, kind of when the B, okay, so when the B is enabled, reset the B's health and whether or not it's dead. Okay, so we need to start reset the current health to the starting health. So our current health, starting health is 100, right? So we set the current at the beginning of the game. The current and starting is equal 100. And it's not that. So our aim that is false. And set health UI. Okay. And okay, so let's go back to this one. Okay, so before we kind of set okay, so under the yellow B, we need to set a UI element. We set a UI element. Whatever we set UI element, we will get a canvas. So under a canvas, we need to make a slider. Slider is here. Slider. Yeah, once you hit the slider, you will get this. And I've already have laws already made, but I just wanna show you like what it will look in a slider. Okay, so slider look like this, right? And first we need to go to delete the handle slide because we don't want any handle. So we delete it. So we don't have a handle. And then fill area, fill. So we only need background, fill area, and fill. Okay, so and then we need to put the background and fill area, and we need to put this wheel to this. Yeah, make sure it's all this. And the background, we need to set the alpha somewhere in the middle. Yeah, and then yeah, and then basically we need to kind of change. Yeah, so oh shit. Okay, so basically we'll see something like that. Okay, yeah, so you go here and click Control and Alter and make sure it's like look like this. Okay, so you get the little area. Then start it to, for example, like this one, make it filled. Yeah, you see if you make it filled. We need to make it like a radius. From the origin, we can make it left. And we don't need clockwise because when you lose the points, you go counterclockwise. And then this one we use field as well. Yeah, okay. So this is the settings for the whole, and you can change to the health slider. Basically, it's the same thing. Okay, so the whole health slider, we set the direction to right to left. Background, yeah, we put this and the alpha because we want to see the transparent part. And fill area and fill, yeah, so we made it green at the beginning, and we can have like this. Yeah, we can fill mode, we can have like a radius, and this we can have fill origin from left, same as the background. Okay, so we can see. Okay, I need to take out the B explosion. And it's weird why it's looping though. The explosion, you know. Maybe I said it's looping. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's delete this. Just make sure it's not too complicated. Okay. Okay, so this is the the health slider. Yeah, so make sure that the minimum value, the health slider minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 100. And the fill, yeah, the amount is 1. 1 means that the whole thing is 1. It's like a pie chart. Okay, so this is our health. Okay, so for example, if we do this value, I think, okay, yeah, you can see some cool stuff. Okay, so for example, like, yeah, this is the later one. Okay, so that's fine. We can see this one first. Okay, cool. Slider, right to left, background. Oh wow, you see the slider, horizontal, vertical, radius 90, radius 180. Yeah, so we want the third one, right? So you see like the amount. Feel the amount. You can see like it's from kind of working the way that we want, and then fill. See, because reason why it's not working is because this is the amount. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we can make the value a little. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So basically, this is the UI that we are going to use. So, okay, so set health UI. This is the health UI. And then slider. Slider means this slider. Slider, um, the slider game object set active true. Okay, the reason why I use this is because that in the tutorial on Unity's official website, when I kind of like learn from the coding stuff, they didn't put this line there. And then when I test around, I find out that I couldn't see my UI. So that's why I went online and did some research. I find out this one m underscore slider, the game object set active. If you put it true on the update, then it will show up at the beginning of that game. Yeah, so that's why I add this code in order to see the UI. Okay, then we have the function called take damage. Okay, so the amount of damage, we need to see like the amount of damage. How to define the amount of the damage. Okay, so let's reduce current health by the amount of damage done. So current health, if you minus amount of health, then you go back to the current health. So this minus equal is a really easy one. It equals like m underscore current health equals m underscore current health minus amount. So this one will always minus amount and become a new one. So yeah, so this is a C# coding. Yeah, and then change the UI elements appropriately. So we will call the function called set health UI that we later on will write the function. Okay, so if the current health is at or below 0 and it has not yet been registered, call on that. Okay, so if the current health is less than 0 or equal than 0, and is not that, then we make it that. Yeah, so basically this we are going to tell the the player. Okay, so basically your current health will be you will lose certain of health by the damage. Then if your current health is lower than 0 or equals 0, then you are dead. Yeah, also this is the easy way to say this part. Then let's do the set health UI. We set the slider value appropriately according to the okay, so this slider value will be equal the current health, and the field image color lerp. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, so color lerp is kind of like a let me draw. I think I drew it before though. That's fine, I can draw it again. Okay, so that's created. It's created. Cool. Okay, so color lerp is this to here, right? And this is 1 point, second point. Okay, so we put RGB, have RGB, right? Like a 0 to 55, I think so. Okay, so this is RGB, let's say. And then, for example, like we need to set this point A and point B, right? And color lerp is, okay, let's change another color. Okay, so color lerp is that, for example, like this is 1/3. So if this is 0, this is 255, and this is RGB, then we get the 1/3 of all the value. Then yeah, this is the color, RGB color of this color lerp. So color lerp, well, you can see like this is the 0 color, right? This is one extreme, the 0 one, which is red, and this is the full color, which is 100, 0 and 100. Okay, so we get the two extremely extreme, like the two ends, and then we need a certain ratio in order to define the lerp. Okay, so this is the ratio. So this is the current health, kind of divided by starting health. So for example, if we got 50, then it's 50 kind of like a divide by 100. Yeah. So basically m underscore for health color and starting health. I think it's the same thing. Okay, starting is 100, right? For health color. Okay. So basically this is the RGB color, and this is the ratio. 100. For example, this is 100, and if your current health is 50, then it's 50%. Yeah, so this will be here. Okay, so you will get half of the health. Okay, so basically color lerp will kind of like make. Okay, so basically it will look like a yeah. So this will make it in the halfway, so you can see like it's 50-50. Okay, so private void on that. So and if the that is true, then please move the instantiate explosion prefab to the B's position and turn it on. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that please transform the position equals transform the position. So if we if we make sure it's that, then please move the particle transition to transfer position. Because this transfer position, it means that okay, the exact game object that this script attached transfer position, because we basically attach B health on the B itself. So this is the player itself, and then we want to put the particle instantiate. We instantiate at the beginning, right? Right here, instantiate, and then we right at the wake. Yeah. So we want to make the transfer position to the B's position. Then we set this particle true. We play the death like a particle explosion. Then we are going to play the particle, and then we play the explosion audio. Then we set basically the other B, the gain object set active is false. Yeah, so we set the player become yeah. So basically, if your health is below 0, then basically we will instantiate the B explosion, and then later on we are going to turn off the game object set active. Set active means that this one, set active, inactive, set active. So it's still there, but it's just not active. Okay, so this is the B health. Then let's look at the shell creation. The shell creation we need to put, because we got the explosion for the B, the player itself, but the shell also explore as well. So you will see the shell explore and the B itself explore. So you see like the bullet will explore when hitting a player, and the player will explore. So there will be two stuff explore. Okay, so let's see the shell explore, and the shell explorer will be attached to, let's see, shell. Yeah, of course. We put B explosion on the B, right? B health, basically. B health has the explosion part. Let's see. This is B health. Right. Okay, so B health. Yeah, explosion prefab, B explosion. And then we have another one called B health, shell explosion. So basically, we will put a shell. This shell. Let me show you this shell. This shell. And this shell. Okay, we have rigid body. We have capsule collider. Basically, I get this shell from online, from SS Store. It's free, and it's a prefab. And I add capsule collider, add rigid body, because rigid body basically this is a trigger. Yeah, because like we are going to have like on trigger. If this happens to hit any player, we detect the player, then we explore. Yeah, so this is basically the what this shell do, and then we write explosion. Okay, so later on we are going to introduce another the script. Okay, so let's see. Shell explosion. Okay, so first we need to have a layer mask. It's called B mask. This means that use the filter what explosion effects should be set to players, because we want the player to be explorer, and we don't want anything like background explorer, because we just want to make the player explorer. So this should set to players. So we need to set this player, right? Player, yeah, set to player. Yeah, we can take player as well, because later on we might need it. Okay. So we make layer mask, B mask. Then we have particle system. We have explosion particles. And we have another variable called audio source, explosion audio, which means it's the audio that play the explosion. Okay. Then we have the max damage 100. It means that if the amount of damage explosion is centered on the B. So basically we use the B's position to kind of relate it to the shell position. If it is really close, then we make a really big damage, which is the max damage will be 100. And yeah, so the explosion force will be 1,000. It's pretty big though. And then max lifetime we are going to set to 2. Explosion radius we are set to 5. Okay, so when the game start and we are going to destroy a game object, it's not, if it is not destroyed by then destroy all the shells. So basically for the program we usually set a lot of our game object or other function set to false or clean up first, because when updating we might get a lot of like a game object and related game object to interfere it. So usually we set default as we set false as our default. So this one I think is probably like a after the Unity tutorial, that the tank tutorial, like the people who invented, who they might think that okay, there might be a lot of like testing going on, and they find out that we need to destroy the game object first, because there might be a lot of game object the shell explosion left on the scene. So that's why they destroy it, clean up the whole scene first. Then that's go to on trigger enter. Okay. So, for example, if we need to start calculate all the colliders. So what's overlay sphere? Overlay sphere is kind of like this. Okay, let's create another one. Oh, I should put like a white. Okay, here. Okay, so it's like overlay sphere. It's like that. Okay, so this is the shell, and then you can get. Okay, sorry. It's a shell, and then this is overlay sphere. Okay, so for example, we are going to calculate a lot of collider. Okay, collider, because we've already put the collider, but it's a trigger collider on the shell. So if we have any collider, destroy those colliders inside this overlap sphere. So we create a ring. This is this. Anything around here need to be destroyed. Yeah, whatever collider get inside here needs to be destroyed. So we kind of instantiate a shell. Okay, so this is physics overlay shell sphere. Okay, so you need to put the position and radius. Okay, so for example, like when the shell's position is probably 0, 0, 0, then we have a radius. Like our radius is 5. So within 5 unit, then we need to destroy the player mask. Like whatever our layer is called player. Like any player come inside this sphere. Any player come inside this sphere will be destroyed. Inside this sphere will be destroyed. Okay, so this is the whole. Yeah, so we need to start calculate all the collection inside the collider. Okay, so let's go through all the colliders. Yeah, with a lot of colliders. So when you go through all the colliders inside the sphere, inside B mask, and then we need to get rigid body first. Then if they don't have a rigid body, go to the next collider. Yeah, because like we only put the shell, and we only put player rigid body. But if you couldn't find the rigid body on it, then please skip, because that it means that might be something else. So we only want to destroy the collider with rigid body. Yeah. Okay. Then continue. Okay. So if target rigid body at explosion force. Okay, so we want to add explosion force to the position and radius at the explosion force. Then B health, target health. Get current B health. Okay, so B health, it means that, okay, then go to B health script. Okay, we go to B health script. Then target health, we create a variable called reference called target health. Then we go back to the target rigid body get component B health. Okay, so what does it mean? So target health equals target rigid body get component B health. So we want to get the component from B health, right? Find a health script associated with the rigid body. Okay, then if there's no tank health script attached, then go to the next collection. Okay, so we are double checking that which one we want to destroy first. We make sure it has a rigid body. If not, then we jump. If it has a rigid body and it has a health script attached to it, then we damage it, because this is exactly the player that we want to damage it. Okay, so we calculate damage, then and then we take the damage. Okay, then after we find out that exact player, then we started to unparent. Okay, so this shell will detach from the parent because we set the parents null. So there will be no parent at all. So it's detached. Then we play the particle system. Then we play the audio. And then we destroy within 5 seconds. Then we destroy the shell itself. Okay, then how to calculate damage? We want to kind of like create a vector from a shell to target. So explosion to target. So we make the target position and transfer position, which is like we are calculating our target position, like our rival position, related to our shell's position. Then we calculate the distance from the shell to the target. It's the explosion distance, explosion to target the magnet. Yeah, and then we calculate the proportion of the maximum distance the target is away. So we need to have a relative distance. Yeah, so we kind of set up and set up radius divided by radius. Then we damage by max damage. Then we damage, make sure math after max means that your minimum damage is set to the, make sure it's up to 0. We don't want minus damage, right? So then we return damage. Yeah, this is the shell explosion. So let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, again. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you can see like there's a, I think there's a little bug. You can see the right? The shell is exploding in like a radius. Okay, so this is the small test. Okay, let's jump into the firing shells. Okay, so when firing, I mean, you can choose either you want to use this indicator or not, but I kind of feel that this is a little redundant, but I will go over with you very quick. So you need to create another slider as well under the same canvas, under the first player. Okay, so we create a slider and we name it AM slider. We delete, like here we got the background because we still want something that remains. But this one, you can see this one. It's basically an indicator for the shell, like what's the direction that the shell is shooting. So we don't have to really, we can have it, but we don't have it. We don't really need it, but I just make it. Okay. So fill, I created in Photoshop, and basically it's like that. Show you, yeah. It's a PNG file. You can see it like that, and then fill area, fill. Okay, so sliced, so it will look kind of proportional. Okay, so the same thing. I put the image. I put arrow in. Yeah, and then this. Remember, make it bottom to top. Oh, yeah. So you can see this when I started to slide this. You can see this, right? It's cool. It's like 15. This 13. Related to shooting. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, so we create another slider. Then we are going to create a shooting. Okay, so this shooting, I believe is here. Okay, so we put a shooting script here. Okay, so player number, we make it 1. Okay, so we're going to shoot. Okay. So first we create this player number, we set it 1, and we make a rigid body for a shell. Then we make a transform. We make a fire barrel, a gun barrel. So we made a fire transform. So it's like on top, this one, fire transform. Yeah, create this. Basically create a empty game object, and then rename it. So we only have the transform component here, and then we kind of put just in front of the gun, like the shooting part, so we can start instantiate our shell just right here, so we can spawn it. Okay, so we made a fire transform here. Then we made a slider, M slider, which is this yellow indicator. Yeah, we just made it. Yeah, pretty fast. And then we had the max charge time, 0.75 F. Private string, we set it to fire button. And then yeah, because for example, like fire 1, right? We have like a fire button. Our fire button will be fire plus the player number, which is 1, which is fire 1. If we go to the settings, yeah, you can see like all the keyboard related to the name of the fire. Yeah, you can see it. I think I made it, like I made a tutorial, like the previous tutorial I introduced how to change the settings, so you can go back to see the previous tutorial. Yeah. Okay, so create those. We create fire button, we create current launch force, we create charge, speed, and whether it's fired or not. Okay, so at the beginning we create a force. So current force equals minimum force. Yeah. And then M slider value equals minimum launch force. So it means that at the beginning we set it to 15. And when we fire, we set it to 30. And when we go back, we didn't launch it, we just charge it. We make this only when our shells fight. So that's the meaning of this part. We set everything than minimal at the beginning. Okay. Then we make when starting, then we make fire and +1, so it's fire1 key, which is the on the very right hand side of the enter. Yeah, so that right enter is the fire key, because I use like up, down, left, right as on the keyboard as my first player. So right hand enter key is the best for the fire. So make sure everything is on the right hand side. Okay, on the keyboard. Okay, so the charge speed equals m launch force minus m launch force max m max launch force minus m minimum launch force divided by max charge time. So which means that this minus this equals this. So our charge time, we want to have a charging speed. Then we update. We make the value as the launch force. Yeah, okay, so which means that, okay, if the launch force is 15, then this go 15. Launch force is 30, then we go 30. Okay, and okay, so if the current launch force greater and equals max launch force, that we are not, and it's not fired, then please make the current force equals max launch force, and we fire. It means that, okay, if our force we press pretty long time and it's getting almost larger and equals large launch force, then we start fire. If we just get the button down, it's just like we just press the button, then we are not going to fire it, right? But we will have the minimal force and just like playing everything. If we get the button and if we press the button long enough but it's not fire, then we need to start adding up the force according to the charge speed multiple time. So this means that we just press the button, so nothing will happen and the force will be minimal. Yeah, and when we start playing it. But if we start pressing the button and the button needs to according to the time charging speed, we are slowly charging the force and adding up the force. Then we set the M slider value to the current launch force. Still not fire. But if we button up and it's not fire, then we fire. It means that no matter if you have been through lows, even though you are not press too long and launch, then we still let you fire because you press it and you let go. We just let you fire, even though it's not in the max launch force. We still let you fire. But if you press too long, then we will let you fire as well. Okay, so we made another fire function. If the fire is true, then the rigid body will instantiate the shell, and according to the position, rotation, it's a rigid body. Yeah, so this is the shell instantiate, and the velocity. So we are going to shoot the forward. Yeah, basically I'm wondering that maybe because I set my shell. See? I think I kind of rotate it though. Yeah, I mean, so that's why it's kind of like this way. So if, to be honest with you, if 1, want to make it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so okay. Yeah, I think I just shoot myself, I think. Okay, so this shell, that's fine. Okay, we'll fix it. But I mean, we might fix it later. But I mean, like I might need to adjust the original rotation for the shell in order for my shell to shoot further. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so with velocity, we shoot forward. Then we play the fire clip. Then we play the shooting audio. Then later on, this is kind of a debugging thing. It's like, okay, after you fire, please set everything the minimum. Because what if you sneak in and place too much time, hit too many fire key, and then basically this well has some problem if you don't write this code. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, let's get out of this. Okay, take out the shell. Okay, cool. So yeah, I will kind of fix a little bit of the art, and yeah, I think it's pretty weird that this and this is intersect, right? So maybe I think it's the angle thing though. It's not really. Yeah, you see, it's not even close. Okay, that's fine. Let me put it super high. Is that looking? Yeah, I think because some of that is transparent. Yeah, so it looks a little bit like overlaying. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is, yeah, today's tutorial. I think this, yeah, actually this looks pretty good. Okay, so this is today's tutorial, and showing how to create the bee house and the shell creation and firing shells. And if you wanna see, because basically I use the coding from Unity tutorial code tanks tutorial as a reference. So if you wanna learn more about how to make a multiple player in one keyboard, you can definitely check out Unity's official website, Tanks tutorial. Yeah, okay, thanks for watching, and next time I will show you how to create game object and audio. Okay, thank you, and see you next time. Bye bye.